Let's see. I've been on Grindr for now about 3 weeks, and it's been exciting. I'm finding a couple of obstacles with guys. So this is going to be a video with tips on how to approach a trans woman properly. All right. I really do feel a lot of men just don't know how to approach a woman in the app scene, the dating scene. And I think I'm having these challenges because of the fact that I'm older. Being 66, I come from a time where you didn't meet on apps. You met face to face. You maybe bumped into someone in the supermarket, or like the pilot to Bewitched, right? Where they met in a store, like the revolving door or something, or they kept passing. Like yesterday, I had an incident where I'm on the way to the chiropractor, getting inside the chiropractor's building. There's a young man at the front desk asking the room of a certain place that he's looking for. And it ended up that he was looking for the same room I was going to, which was the chiropractor's office. So we end up in the elevator. He's got these dimples, really cute, right? And I'm like, oh, you're going to that room? Oh, I'm going there too, to the chiropractor. We both walk. He's not so much of a gentleman because he didn't let me in first. And he really didn't really hold the door for me. But we ended up being in the same facility, right? And then when he was getting treated, I saw, his cute little sneakers. He didn't have big feet, so he was a Latino guy, really cute. But these dimples was just, he had a smile that was amazing. All right, so then I leave. I don't know what time he left. And then I go to take the train, and who's on the train station? Who's taking the same train? The cute little Latino guy with the dimples. Did like this to him, and he walked the other way. He was like 25 or something. I'm 66. He's like, I'm not gonna mess around with that old lady. At least he felt that way, maybe, because most of the men that I meet on Grindr are in their 20s. That's the way I like to meet people, and that's just the best way, right? I have said it on these videos before that I meet men all the time. Maybe not the dimple cutie Latino going to the chiropractor, same place I'm going to, but I meet men all the time in the supermarket, doorman here, doorman there, somebody there, somebody here, somebody at the gym. Like today, there's someone at the gym that keeps eyeing me down. He's really a roughneck. Like, he's got these tattoos that are like, oh my God, like, his body's not that great, but he's got a good-looking face, and then he's got like these vicious tattoos, like on his face. A real roughneck. And today he said good morning to me, and I couldn't even look at him, because if I looked at him, very beautiful face, I would melt. And so I replied back, good morning, but I looked down to the floor. Plus, I don't want to get clocked at the gym for being trans, so I have to be careful. But that's the way I like to meet men. That is my preferred old-fashioned way. Now, in the here and now with Grindr, a lot of times guys come on, they do not introduce themselves. Some do, a lot of them don't. This is what they do nowadays. Hey, WYD, which is what are you doing? And I'll reply back if it's starting off like that and I accept it. I'll reply back and say, well, I'm chatting with you. That's what I'm doing. And they're like, oh, what are you doing? And what are your plans for today? Like, I don't know your name. You don't know mine. No distance is noted. You don't have anything in your stats. You don't have your height, your ethnicity, your preferences, your tribe, nothing. There's nothing there. But yet you're asking me all these questions, right? They send you one picture, one photo, or they send you 2 or 3, and like out of the 3, 1 is their face, 2 is their body parts, right? And so like I'm very cold to those type of profiles. And so like I'll be really upfront with them, like, no, I'm not going to answer your questions. Maybe a better question is, what is your name? And I'll ask you, can you please put like what your stats are? What's your height? What's your weight? What are you into? What's your preferences? Something, give me something. Because a lot of times it's like pulling teeth with these guys. And I'm not down for that. I'm not down for that. And when guys are very upfront with like, oh, what's your name? My name is this. Oh, it's lovely, lovely, lovely. When they have their stats and their profile, that's a big help too. Because then I know what's going on. There are some humans there that come to me and they're like into male to female, female to male, sissies, I hate that word, twinks, CDs, trans. They're into like everything. everything. Their menu is like so broad. And I'm just not down with that. I am not down with that broad of a menu. And so then I'll just ignore those. After a while, if they see that I haven't responded, then they'll respond and say, you know, well, you can't say you don't like me. You can't tell me, you know, blah, 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 all this craziness. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to engage. I'm not going to do it because I could just tell from what the profile is telling me that this person is like a pro. Having sex, they're eating the entire menu. The entire menu. All I'm into is a guy that's into cisgender women and trans women. That's my bag. That's what I'm into. Once I see all those other categories and other variations, anyone feminine, as long as they're feminine. I'm like, no, 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 no. So I'm not into that. Oh, one thing I noticed that I'm doing that helps me distinguish who's really serious is also in Grindr you can put down whether you're on Instagram, you can put down your handle. And I like it a lot when a guy comes through on Instagram. I put the Instagram handle there because if they come through on Instagram, I'm really having a more focused conversation with just them and not be distracted by all these messages coming through. Because sometimes where I'm sending a message to a person and thinking I'm sending it to that right person, and no, I'm sending a message to somebody else. And I just entered the info and I wasn't checking. And that could be problematic, right? So I find that when people come through on Instagram, that's really, really cool. For example, today, I woke up and somebody last night sent me a message through Instagram. And then I responded back later in the morning and we chatted and it's a good lead. He says, oh, I found you because I was on Grindr and I saw your handle on Instagram. And I'm like, great. I'm glad that you came through on that level. There's other guys that I'm talking to right now on Grindr that I would love for them to put the pieces together and come through on Instagram. You know, because I don't want to give them my phone number, but I want to have more access to them. They want more access to me. And that's a better way. That's a step up until I'm feeling comfortable enough to give them my phone number. This gentleman came through. He knew what to do. He's a little smarter maybe than the rest. And I'm glad. We might talk later on today. What else did I want to share? Oh, yeah, the infamous trigger. The biggest trigger for me as a trans woman on Grindr, I will say first, that when I was living my life as a gay man, no one was asking me, none of the men were asking me how big my penis is. No one. Really, I think I could really be honest. No one. No one. But as a trans woman, oh my goodness. They'll start off saying, oh, no, 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 that's not important to me. And then once you start getting more connected with them, then they lay it out. Oh, do you have a big dick? And I'm like, oh my God, didn't we go through this already? And it's such a turn off for me. It's such a turn off for me because then the focus is not really me. You know, the outside packaging, there's an attraction, there is a pull for them, but what they really want is what's down there, and they want a really big one. And that's just so crazy for me. I'm sure there's a lot of trans women out there that are well endowed. I'm sure totally functional, which mine is, but I don't let out a lot of disco juice anymore. And these guys just want a big piece with a lot of juice. Putting that kind of pressure on me and we haven't even met, I'm just not into it at all. Sometimes when the conversation is starting and it's going good, I'm like, look, please do not ask me how big I am. Do not ask me how big I am. And I don't want to be controlling of the conversation and how I want it to flow. But a lot of times I have to just say to them, listen, please do not ask me how big I am. Okay. The conversation that I had this morning from the lead through Instagram, I have no idea what his role is, if he's top or bottom, if he's versatile. I really don't want to know, but he's cute. He has his own place. A lot of them don't have their own place. You know, they'll have these photos on Grindr of them in exotic locations, vacationing, and all of this great stuff, like this fabulous life. Suits with Rolex watches on, taking pictures like they're in some sort of palace somewhere, and then to find out they have a roommate and they can't host. Oh, I'm moving my family right now because of blah, 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 blah. I have these roommates and I can't host. And I know some people, when I've mentioned it to them about this, they're like, well, Soraya, the economy now and the cost of living now and all that. I don't buy that. I don't buy that because when I was in my 30s, I always managed to have my own place. And it's funny because this morning I woke up and I'm like, you know what? I am not going to get involved in conversations with guys who can't host. They have to be able to host. And then today, the guy that came through on Instagram this morning has his own place in Queens. So we'll see. They host, I host, not always here. So that was helpful. And I had a date yesterday, actually, with this guy that's been after me for a while. Puerto Rican, he's very thin. And I knew that from the pictures that that's not what I'm attracted to. I'm not attracted to thin men. He was in the area here. He's like, oh, I would love to meet you, Sarai. And I said yes. I had such a good coffee date with him. And so he asked, Soraya, would you see me again? And I'm like, you know what? Yes, I would. And this is only because the desert has been so barren with people. It was really refreshing because I'm back on the app now to sit down with a gentleman who is, an admirer of trans women. And he's Puerto Rican 100%, so we had a lot of commonality there. And that felt comforting. And I felt like I was with my tribe. And so maybe in some way spiritually, I scored some points like that instead of just dismissing him and maybe not even taking the opportunity to meet him and just have a straight out judgment about his appearance and then not even giving him a chance to come through with his personality. Those are the tips that I'd like to leave with all of y'all. If you are dating on Grindr, be easy with the trans women. If the penis is what's really important to you, make that clear from the very start. Don't breadcrumb it. Then you're like asking the question. If that's what you want, and if that's the priority with that human that you're chasing after, let her know. Let her know from the bat. I'm sure some girls are like, yeah, I got it. You want to, you want to have fun with it? Yeah, you come. No, I go at least 2 to 3, maybe 4 dates on the outside before I host, or if you invite me over to your place before I go over to your place. It's got to be an element of safety that I'm feeling with you. We've gone out in public. You're okay with me and being with a trans woman in public. You're okay walking. You're okay having coffee. You're okay maybe having lunch with me. That has to happen first. I've met so many men that just cannot follow through on that. They just can't do it. There's one man, and I met him over the holidays. Beautiful Turkish-Italian guy. Gorgeous, great voice, very industrious, working hard. I think he's a workaholic, but he won't meet with me for coffee. But he wants to come at my place at 10 o'clock p.m. and have our first date here. And I kept telling him, no, I don't date like that. He wants me to go crazy when I see him and all of the sex stuff right away. And I'm like, that's not how I date. And he's not giving in, and I'm not giving in. He's like, you're going to have to work with me. This is the way it is. It's the only time I can come and see you. No, I am not going to be booty call for you at 10 o'clock at night. But he's gorgeous, though. But to me, like, I don't care. Because there's so many men out there. And my comfort, safety, my integrity, this is what I say is best for me on a spiritual level, on a safety level, on an emotional level, is going on dates on the outside before anyone gets invited over. Yeah, one more thing. There's one guy that finally got here. He's a big guy. His first name starts with a J. He has got double molars, and he's really kind, and he's really masculine, but his mouth thing to me just, I kissed him a bit and it just didn't taste right. But we had some intimacy here, and he held me on my waist in a way that was like, oh my God. So he's definitely a top, and he knows how to touch me. I was like, whoa, no one's ever touched me like that. And he did a little something. He kind of nibbled, and he did it really good too. The second time I've ever had that done. He did it good, honey. He did it good. He knew what to do. It's like a Phyllis Hyman song. You know how to love me. You know how to make it right. So right. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. No doubt about it. Yeah. Yeah. But if I can't passionately kiss you we're not going to have too much of a physical sexual connection. I've got to want to be able to start right here. If I can't start in the mouth with making out and kissing, not going to be much of a spark. But that's what's going on over here. Any ladies, trans or otherwise, who are out on the dating scene want to chime in and give your opinion about the dating scene on the apps and how the introductions take place and how you like to be approached. Do you have a preference? You kind of see it the way I see it, that the men are just all cavemen. They don't know. They don't know. And then I'm written off as being really rude. I have to teach these guys, relax, relax. No one's going anywhere. I'll end by saying, sex is not an emergency. Sex is not an emergency, y'all. It is not. Not for me, darling. Not for me. And one more thing, that when I shut down sexually and gender and everything was in my 20s, that I get to meet men in their 20s, like as if I was Sleeping Beauty and I was asleep all that time. And I woke up at 66 and I'm like, oh, well, they're still the 20-something-year-old guys, because that's when you fell asleep, Soraya. I feel like that. I'm like, oh, like how cool is that? And I feel like that's such a blessing. I was like, oh, I worked it out, did all the right things spiritually, emotionally, physically. And like higher powers like, all right, girl, you were in a slumber all these years. It took you at 66 to be vibrant and everything. And then make whatever adjustments you need to make with your body and breasts. Look what I'm giving you. They were all in their 20s. And they're all crazy about you at your 66 age and find you well put together, they say. And it's all lovely compliments, and I'm really grateful for that. Okay, I'll end there. I want to thank you all for watching. I hope some men really took some notes here at Soraya's Fierce Cooking Show, Soraya's School of Dating Education, and proper manners and techniques and how to get your girl or your woman. Okay? Y'all take care. Thanks for watching. Trans Mama always loves you, even if you're the sloppiest MFer in dating. I still got a space for you in my heart. Take care now. Bye. Mwah, mwah, mwah.